Okay, so we're diving in. This deep dive is going to be, I think, really good.
Yeah.
You've got the Handmaid's Tale excerpts, a little bit of background from Wikipedia. So we're talking Gilead, everybody.
Yeah.
Atwood's masterpiece of
Yeah.
dystopia.
It's interesting, she doesn't just drop us into this terrifying world fully formed. The excerpts really show how she meticulously built Gilead from the anxieties of, well, our time, just taken to a kind of a chilling extreme.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine the United States,
Right.
but
Right.
it's gone. And in its place is this theonomic dictatorship, Gilead. And the excerpts mention this staged attack as the catalyst, which, I mean, that's terrifyingly plausible, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the brilliance of it, right? It preys on that very human fear, which is chaos. And the sons of Jacob, they orchestrate everything. They offer a solution, control,
Right.
but at what cost?
Yeah, and the excerpts really make it clear that that cost is huge E, especially for women.
Oh, absolutely.
Enter Offred, our handmaid protagonist. Forced into childbearing, she's stripped of her identity. She's practically owned by the commander,
Right.
hence Offred.
Yeah.
And it's chilling how Atwood uses language like that to show just that dehumanization.
Unknown but effective, right? Suddenly, she's not a person with a name. She's a function, and her life entirely dictated.
Right.
The excerpts detail the uniform, the restricted language, the constant surveillance. It's about control, yeah, but it's also about just crushing the human spirit.
Yeah, it's so stark.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have Serena Joy, the commander's wife. And, we get that little bit of background from Wikipedia that she used to be an advocate for traditional roles for women.
Right.
And now she is trapped in this system that, she may have even helped create.
Yeah, talk about unintended consequences, right? Serena Joy is almost like a cautionary tale, within the larger story.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for, because the pedestal you put someone on can very easily become a cage.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
And like that excerpt where Serena's pacing her sitting room, practically vibrating with frustration, you feel it.
Oh, yeah.
But here's what I find incredible is that even in this oppressive atmosphere, Offred finds these tiny ways to rebel.
Ah, yes, the seeds of defiance.
Yes.
These moments they're crucial, I think, because it shows that the human spirit, even when it's being crushed, it looks for light, looks for cracks in the system.
Right? Like hoarding those little trinkets, whispering forbidden words. Even that scene where she finds the message from the previous handmaid etched into the wall.
Right.
It's this tiny, thread of hope.
Yeah, and it's through these threads that Atwood shows us how resistance can smolder, even in the darkest places.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, I mean, Gilead is very good at stamping out that hope.
Right.
And the Wikipedia article mentioned language control, which is...
Oh, and that's terrifyingly effective.
It is.
Because it's not just censorship, it's like twisting language itself.
Here.
Like, remember those phrases, blessed be the fruit, may the Lord open it. I mean, they sound almost polite.
Right.
But in Gilead, it's all about, twisting the meaning.
It's about enforcing it.
Yes.
And that's where the ants come in.
Oh, yeah.
They are the embodiment of Gilead's ideology,
Right.
using language as a weapon, essentially.
Totally. And the excerpts describing Aunt Lydia,
Oh!
bone-chilling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's something else.
She, manipulates the handmaids, and she uses their own insecurities and fears against them.
It's insidious because it's not just physical control, right?
What?
It's psychological.
Yes.
She justifies everything with this, warped interpretation of faith and natural order.
Right.
And it's effective, right?
Yeah.
Gilead understands that to truly control people, you have to control what they believe. It's insidious.
Yeah.
And one of the most striking examples of that is Moira,
Right.
Offred's friend from before Gilead.
Yeah.
That woman is a force of nature.
She is.
I mean, her escape from the Red Center, as detailed in the excerpts, is
oh my gosh.
incredibly daring.
It's amazing, yeah.
It really is.
Talk about gutsy.
It shows the lengths people will go to for freedom.
Yes.
But then she,
Right.
later she pops up in Jezebel's
I know.
that controlled brothel for the commanders.
Yeah, that's a whole other level.
It's a whole other
messed up.
It's tragic in a way.
It is.
Because it shows how even these acts of defiance can be twisted by Gilead,
Right, exactly.
It's a reminder that even if you escape one form of control,
Right.
there's always a risk of ending up in another.
Totally. Yeah, it's like they just have this way of closing in.
Yes.
Even in those, like, those small spaces where you think you might be able to find some freedom.
It's inescapable in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
The reach of Gilead.
It's inescapable, but it's not just those individual acts, though.
Right.
Right. The excerpts mention May Day. The the organized resistance.
Yes.
And that's where things get really, really interesting, I think.
Well, May Day represents that flicker of hope on a larger scale, right?
Yes.
This network operating in the shadows.
Right.
It shows that the desire for freedom, the desire for change, can't be completely extinguished.
Yeah, like it's like this invisible web of resistance, right?
Exactly.
And we see it through Offred's connection to Offred.
Right.
Her shopping partner.
Her walking partner, yeah.
Right, right. And it's these whispered messages, the coded conversations.
Right. It's like a spy thriller, almost.
It is. It totally is.
And just as dangerous, right?
Right.
I mean, the excerpts make it very clear that discovery means torture or worse.
Yeah, for sure.
These individuals are risking everything.
Everything.
For a chance to dismantle Gilead from within.
Yeah, it makes you think, like, who could you trust?
Right, exactly.
You have to be so careful.
Right. Which brings us to the commander. Yes.
His relationship with Offred is
complicated, to say the least.
Yes, complicated, to say the least.
Right.
And the excerpts mention these, like, secret meetings.
Right.
Right, where they're playing Scrabble, they're sharing forbidden books, and
it's interesting because Atwood is so masterful.
Yeah.
At making the commander this enigma, Is he genuinely curious about Offred, about her life?
Right.
Is he seeking a genuine connection, outside the rigidity of Gilead?
Right.
Or is it a power play? Is it another form of manipulation, And the excerpts, they leave it deliberately ambiguous.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the genius of it.
It's so unnerving.
It is.
Because you're left questioning his motives, like, just like Offred is.
Yeah, you're in her head. You're like, what are you doing?
Yes, exactly. And it's unsettling because, like, it forces us to confront this possibility that even those in positions of power...
Right. They're both perpetrator and victim, in a way.
It's true. They are both perpetrator and victim, and that's...
It's that gray area, that Atwood captures so well.
I think that's what makes it so powerful and so unsettling.
Yeah, and it's not like this is some outlandish fantasy,
Right.
The Wikipedia excerpts highlighted how Atwood drew inspiration from
Real world fits.
real world events, from totalitarian regimes to, control of women's bodies throughout history.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's all there.
The seeds of Gilead, these anxieties, these power dynamics, they exist
They do.
in our world, which is what makes it so terrifying.
Yes, exactly. It's like, that bit about Romania in the 80s.
Right.
Banning birth control, mandatory pregnancy tests. It's a chilling reminder that, I mean, these things have happened.
They have.
And could very easily happen again.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that's Atwood's warning, right? Gilead is what happens when we let those anxieties, those impulses toward control go unchecked.
100%. It's like she's holding up a mirror, to society and saying, like, look, this could be us.
Exactly. And that brings us back to, I think, the heart of The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
It's more than just a dystopian thriller,
Right.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yes.
It's about the fragility of freedom, like the seductive nature of control, and yet the resilience of the human spirit.
It really is. And it asks us to look inward, I think, to really kind of examine the power structures that we often take for granted.
Absolutely.
The ways in which language can be used to manipulate and control.
It's called to vigilance.
It is.
To questioning everything.
Yes, 100%. Because as we see in Gilead, the road to dystopia is often paved with good intentions.
The best of intentions, yeah.
Right. Like that's what makes it so scary, I think.
It's the scary part, yeah, for sure.
So much to think about. And this is why we love a good deep dive.
It is.
But this one's not over just because we've reached the end of the excerpts, right?
Yeah, right.
Like what parallels can you draw to our own world?
Yeah.
What makes you stop and think, like, that could be us?
Yeah, keep those questions in mind because ultimately the power of The Handmaid's Tale, It lies not in its ability to scare us,
Right.
but in its ability to make us think critically about the world around us.
Perfectly said, perfectly said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those very questions. Until next time, keep those minds sharp and keep exploring.